and welcome to Knitting Nook. Okay, now the last video that we did here on Knitting Nook was Introduction to Casting On 101. Now, if you got the hang of that, if I was helpful in that, and I hope I was, then you are ready to learn how to do the garter stitch. The knit stitch, pardon me. Garter stitching is a whole different thing. The knit stitch allows you to do garter stitching. Okay, so just a review quickly of casting on. So that was creating, hands don't work today at this moment. So that was creating your slip stitch, and then casting on was up, in, over, up through, over, up through, over, back through, over, up through, over, back through, and over, which you can't see because my hands are in the way. My apologies for that. So up through, over, oh, of course, now I'm having troubles, back through and over, up through, back through, there we go. Okay, so up through, over, back through and over, back, up through, over, back through, over. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're just going to cast on about 15 stitches, 11, 12, 13, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, whoops, back on camera, 14, 15, oh, we'll do 20, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. It's always good to count when you're working your projects. So your cast on should look like that. It's fairly loose, not too tight. As you're working projects in knitting, tension is important. It's good not to have things too tight, because especially if you're working pattern, because it can make it hard to slide your needles in and out. So, okay. Now, to do a knit stitch, because now that we have our little start to the thing here, welcome to pretzel time here on Knitting Nook. Hi, my name is Ray, and I am the crone in C is for crone, and today I am the pretzel. So I'm hoping that you can see that I have adequate light here. Okay, so you slide up into your stitch as if you're going to create a cast on, but we're not casting on anymore. You can see that my working needle, this is the one with all the stitches on, is the holding needle, is what I'm calling the holding needle. This one is the working needle. You just wrap around, okay, and wrap around and pull that yarn through and hold it on your hook this time. And now, instead of putting this on here on your holding needle, we are going to pull it off, okay? Because what we're going to be doing is turning the working needle into the holding needle, okay? So you should have one less on your holding needle and one on your working needle. So you take the working needle and slide it into the next one on the holding needle, wrap around the working needle, pull it back through and up. So now you have two loops on there, and pull off. And gently, see, carefully and gently pull. So now you have two on the working needle, and you should have one less on your holding needle. Slide into on your holding the stitch, okay, and gently push forward. This will make it easier. Okay, you got your working needle in behind your holding needle. Wrap around, gently pull, and I would do a horribly loose thing if for practicing. That's really hard. Pull through, and you should have on your working 3 and one less on the holding. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and now 17 on my holding needle, and 3 on here. Now if everything fell off, go pause this video, go back and cast on your 20, rewind to the beginning, and start over. That's the beautiful thing about video, is we can start back over. Now, slide through, yarn over the back working needle, pull up through and off, push through, over, pull through and up and off. And at this point we should have 5 on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Push through, up, round, pull up and over and off. And it is quite okay to stop at any point, pause, and take a breath. We're at the 9.5 minute mark. This is not a race, and I'm just shifting because I don't usually knit like this, but as this is the only way to do this to show you, this is how I'm doing it. So okay, so we go through the loop, put in the working needle behind, wrap around, Balancing on my finger as I push. Pull that yarn up through your loop and then gently slide off, down through with that needle through there. Try not to get let's get my thumb out of the way. Wrap around the working needle there in the back, finger for balance, up through, pull off. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And like I said, feel free at any moment to pause the video, take a deep breath, go to the bathroom, get up, stretch, come back, and if you need to, start over. The yarn I'm using is more Bernat Premium. It is definitely nice and soft, and to borrow a word from Crystal from Bag O' Day Crochet, it is definitely scarfable. And scarfable means you can wear it around your neck and it's nice and soft and it's fuzzy and warm. So, through the loop, the fingers are in the way again, so through the loop, round the needle, balance, up, back through the loop, pulling that yarn up through, gently slide off, down through the loop, trying to not have my thumb in the way, around, balance back through the loop, working needle in the back, wrap around, balance back up, and through. Okay, now we have, hold this up where you can see, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 needles on there, and we can see that on the holding needle there's less stitches on there. And we're going nice and slow, because when you're starting with knitting, nice and slow is good. And we're not working on perfect, we're just working on getting the flow, the feel of it. And I would suggest that you work with a number 4, and these are number 10 needle, and that seems to work for me. I'm not sure what the needle size for that they suggest for it is. I don't have the paper for that right here, Mom. But if you're just starting out, just go get one ball of yarn, something inexpensive. The Bernat Premium number 4, and then whatever needle size, or maybe go up a half size or a size to make it nice and comfortable for you to work with. Just gently do swatches. 20 stitches is probably good, 10 rows to practice, and then take it apart and do that a few times, or just make it nice and long, and just practice your stitches before you make a project until you get the feel of it, and then that way you won't get frustrated. Knitting is not as forgiving as crochet until you really get good at it. There's potential to be frogging and frustrated. They're frustrated and frogging and saying phooey. So here we go. But before here we go, just to let you know, if you take up knitting, if you can get the hang of knitting, and you keep at her and you get good at it, knitting is an amazing break from crochet. It will be your friend. Knitting will be your friend. I love knitting when I am lacking motivation with my crochet. It's just a nice break. You know, just that simple knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, back and forth in rows in a nice stocking stitch. Or when I want to just do basket weave, that's kind of nice. I love basket weave. That's the stitch that I've got for the picture for Knitting Nook. Is in that picture. I'll insert another picture in this at the end here of this tutorial. I'll try to remember to do that, of the picture without the words on it. So anyway, so here we go. Don't be afraid of knitting. There's so many amazing things that you can make, from sweaters to socks to just plain simple Afghans to scarves. Okay, so we want to slide our working needle in through in the back, and I generally pinch in around there, holding, whoops, up and over and slide off through. Remember, we're doing the knit stitch, and we've got some balance going on, and I'm off my boobs here. Balance, wrap around, balance, and go. There we go, and slide off. I do not knit the way my mom knit. She held these things like chopsticks thingies where you're down and inverted like this. I can't knit like that. So up through, around, pull the yarn back, up towards you, and then off. Up through, around your working hook, your working needle, and then off the holding needle. Up through, around, up towards you, and then off. Through, around, pull towards you, and off. Through, around, towards you, and off. Through, around, towards you, and off. Through, around, towards you, and off. And there you go. We're completely off. In 20, in the 20. There we go. And that's our first row. The other thing that probably wouldn't hurt in your list of equipment is something to keep track of your rows as you're going. I forget, because a lot of projects that I do when I'm knitting, I wing it. Because I'm so used to just either making a scarf or a baby blanket or whatever. So I do stocking stitch a lot. And stocking stitch is knit one row, purl one row, knit one row, purl one row. So what we did was knit one row. That's what we did. We just knitted a row. And you should be proud of yourself, because you knitted a row. You cast on and you knitted a row. So we're going to knit a second row, and that's the start of a garter stitch. So what we do is up through the stitch, we wrap around, we pull through that stitch, because we've got our working needle now, and off the holding needle, because everything is a nice little dance from one needle to the next. And we go up through, around, and pull through, and off. Up through, around, 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 pull through, and off. And just like that, in our 20 stitches, we are off. And we have started the garter stitch. That's 2 rows of knit. Simple as that. And once again, to do a knit stitch is you shove your needle, your working needle, whoops, sorry, kind of little Harry Potter there. What is that? Flick and swish, or swish and flick. You take your, you've got your holding needle and your working needle. Whoops. And you slide your working needle up into your stitch right there. Just, if you like, you can, if your stitch is feeling a little loose, you can pull it. Wrap around your working needle. So up, pull your yarn through, and then off. And then that's your knit stitch. There's your knit stitch on there. So up, over, through, and off. Up, over, back 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 through, and off. So yes, it's kind of a swish and flick. So up, over, back through, and off. Up, over, back through towards you, and off. Up through the loop, over, back through towards you, and off. So that eventually, as you're working, your work looks like this. So up through, back, up over, ta-da, and ta-da. So through, over, back through, and off. Through, over, through, off. Through, over, through, and off. Through, over, through, off. Through, over, through, off. Through, over, through, off. Through, over, through, off. And I'm hoping you can see that okay. I can tell I'm having lighting issues. So through, over, through, and off. And then there we go. And now we're at the end. There we go. And that is your knitting. And so I'm going to leave it there. I want you to practice that. Couple more rows, and then I just want you to yank that all off and then do about 10 rows, and that's the prep for the next video, which is the casting off. And I'm going to do a couple more rows in prep. This video is already 26 minutes, so and I will show in the next video how to cast off. Casting off is just simple, simple, simple. Okay, thank you. Until next time. Bye.